Dimensions and Perceptions. Part 1 of 3. Depending on who you are, your perception of dimensions will determine how you view different dimensions. So for now, we're going to tackle it from the most easiest understanding of dimensions and what we're taught about dimensions. And then we go into the spiritual aspect and the time. And time is a perception, a dimension of time, and we'll just go from there. And we're looking at it from the quantum aspect of different dimensions, spirituality, dimensions, and everything else. But for now, this is what we got. Layers of perception. Different dimensions, right here. What do people usually mean by dimensions? Most people picture sci-fi or flat 2D, deep 3D, then some portal type 4D. But there's a simpler way to use these words. A dimension can just mean a layer of reality you're able to pick up on. Once you look at it that way, you'll see you're already standing inside more layers of dimension and perception than you actually use or perceive. Insight, really, it's its own dimension. Yes, light itself comes in a huge range called the electromagnetic spectrum. We're taught this in school. This is the simplest part. I go into more complex understanding of it in this video, but the really deep topics is going to be part 2 and part 3. It runs from radio waves all the way to X-rays. Your eyes only catch one narrow slice of that range, called visible light. That slice is your sight dimension. Bees pick up on different slice. Ultraviolet, completely invisible to you. Snakes pick up on infrared heat as its own slice. Same room, same moment, different light dimensions, being caught by different eyes. Is hearing a separate dimension of its own too? Yes. Same patterning. You catch sound roughly between 20 hertz and 2000 hertz. That's your hearing range dimension. Elephants pick up on lower dimensions of sound. So low you never notice it happening. Right next to you, dolphins and bats pick up on a higher dimension of sound, way above what your ears can hear. Reach. The sound dimension is real, either way. You just weren't built to catch every layer of it. So, just to tap in a little bit, so other beings might see in different spectrums of light and hear in different frequencies. So, just to kind of let you know where I'm going to go with this later on. Is touch its own dimension too? Or is that different? It's its own dimension, and a strange one. When you touch a table, your hand never actually touches the table. What you're catching is a layer of electromagnetic push, invisible force, meeting invisible force. Your brain turns that push into the feeling of solid. So touch isn't raw contact with reality. It's just another dimension of perception translated into feeling. So the dimension is basically a matter of perception with your eyes, your ears, but there's another dimension to that, and it's a spiritual, where like You pick up on other people's feelings. You have deja vu. You know, you're able to have a dream and visually see something, or you hear a voice talking to you. Is reading someone's feelings a dimension? 2. Yes, a quieter one. Tone of voice, small facial moments, posture, timing. That's a rear layer of information physically there, just subtler than sight or sound. Some people naturally catch more of this dimension than others. Most people barely notice. It's a layer at all. It's still perception. It's just a different dimension most people leave shut. So you can see how perception and dimension intertangle, become layered together. So, is there a dimension past all of these? This is where it gets interesting. Scripture holds moments where someone's perception opens into a dimension that was already there, just past their normal reach. In Numbers 22, Balaam's donkey sees an angel standing in the road, sword drawn. Balaam, a professional prophet, someone whose job was spiritual perception, catches nothing 3 times until God opens his eyes, and the same dimension the donkey was already standing in becomes visible to him. Balaam's beating on that donkey, trying to tell him, get on down the road, let's go. And that donkey finally just tells him, you can beat on me all you want to. That's fine. You're just beating on me. But there's an angel right there on that road in front of us that's going to kill me if I go past that point. So you beat on me all you want to. I don't care. I'm not going there to die. In 2 Kings, Elisha's servant panics because an enemy's army has surrounded them. Elisha prays, Lord, open his eyes so he can see. Suddenly, the servant catches a dimension that was there the whole time. A hillside full of horses and chariots of fire, standing guard, invisible, until his eyes were open to that layer. Is there a moment where perception opens gradually instead of all at once? Jesus heals a blind man. Not the first time, and Jesus always healed people the first time. That blind man said, Jesus asked him, what do you see? That blind man says, I see people walking around like trees. His eyes were open. He was seeing a different perception or dimension than what most people do. Then Jesus touches him again and restores his eyesight to our dimension of physical reality, how we perceive it. But there's a message there. If Jesus didn't do it the first time, then there's a message there. So, yeah, gradually instead of all at once, yes. And it might be the clearest example of all. In Mark 8:22, Jesus heals a blind man at Bethsaida. But not in one step. He touches the man's eyes first, then asks, do you see anything? The man says, I see people, but they look like trees walking. Okay, so I didn't think AI would put this into the conversation or into the article from the conversation we had. And it was a long conversation to get the article done. But that being said, I can't remember everything in my mind and tell you the message that I want to without forgetting stuff. So I just do the article through AI. I see people, but they look like trees walking. Sit with that. Answer for a second. He's not fully blind anymore. He's not fully seeing yet either. He's standing in two dimensions of perception at the same time. One layer open enough to catch shapes and movement, another layer still closed. The one that will sharpen those shapes into faces. Jesus touches him a second time, and only then does he see clearly. Every other healing in the gospel happens in one word, in one touch, instantly. This is the only one that pauses in the middle, almost like the text is showing you a dimension being opened in stages, not flipping on like a switch. Where I land. Every sense you carry, sight, hearing, touch, even reading emotions, is one dimension out of many. Not the full picture of what's really there. Balaam's donkey and Elisa's servant shows perception as closed versus opened. The blind man at Bethsaida shows something more. That the opening itself has room in between, a dimension partly caught before it's caught in full. I'm not saying this is the final word on it. It's my read, but from looking at it from a few angles rather than just one, but once it sits with you, these three moments stop looking like broken rules of nature. They start looking like something else, a window into dimensions that were already there the whole time, just past the edge of normal perception. That's the edge for this one. Next time we will go past it into what those next dimensions might actually be. So, and I'm doing this about the dimensions and perceptions and stuff like that, and I go into the quantum particles and then the spiritual nature of things, because this is fixing to tie into what CERN is doing. So, well, I'm just going to leave it at that, because I'm trying to explain the quantum nature of rearranging particles and body parts and turning stones to bread or water to wine and everything else is another completely complicated topic to get into, because most people don't mix everyday world with science, everyday world with spiritual things, and they dang sure don't mix faith, religion with science to create a better understanding of our reality. But I do. If you like this, leave a message. I'm not getting paid for it. I don't ever expect to get paid for it. When you're trying to get paid and gather subscribers and everything else, you can very easily lose focus on what the goal is in doing the articles. So, yeah, I'm not doing it for money. If you like it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Or if you leave a comment, that's even greater. That will help the algorithm, whatever they want to call it, push my videos so other people can see it. Now, a lot of people will tell you that's the main purpose of doing the videos and why they want you to give the thumbs up and leave comments and stuff like that. It's where the algorithm will push the video, but it's because they're trying to make money. Like I said, I've had 2 other channels that got canceled. One other one that I deleted. So I'm not doing it to make the money. I'm doing it because I hope I bring a message that, or a perception or understanding of things that you might not have. And if you have any insights that I'm not catching or that I might not have thought of, leave a comment or do a video on it. You know, I like watching videos too. So, thank you. Have a blessed day. May you and your family be blessed. Seek out a personal relationship with God. That's the wisest thing anyone can do. No matter what dimension you're in or your perception of things. Thank you.